Well, I've been a landlord for 10 years now, and my next guest, I think, has got a little bit of an advantage on me on that front. I'm joined by Harry Oatten. Harry, how long have you been a landlord?
Oh, close to 50 years.
Wow, that's incredible. You must have seen so many changes over that time.
Yes, I have, and certainly none in favour of landlords.
And you're here today because, again, in Wales, there's lots of big challenges.
That's right, to learn.
And what do you think are the main challenges facing Welsh landlords?
Well, I think the question of direct payment to landlords for housing benefit, that's one of the biggest challenges. Because there's a movement afoot with universal credit.
That's right.
That the rent be paid direct to the tenants, except in certain circumstances, if they are vulnerable, for a start, if they've got a very, very poor track record of paying, although how landlords can find that out is very, very difficult to ascertain because of the computer regulations, freedom of information and all that type of thing. I mean, for example, if you have a prospective tenant, then there are researches that one can undertake at a fee, naturally, to find out whether they've got CCJs recorded against them, council, that is to say, that county court judgments, which would indicate that they would certainly be vulnerable. Now, it's been tried before by the DWP, although in those particular days they were known as the DSS, when payment was paid direct to tenants, and they made a hopeless mess of it. The arrears gradually mounted, and although the DWP has now, since '96, the DWP advice to local authorities under regulation number 96 is that once the tenant has gone 8 weeks in arrears,
then the payment can go direct.
Then the payment can go direct. But there's now, I believe, suggestions that this be every 2 months. Although housing benefit is paid 4 weeks in arrears, how then the DWP is going to calculate that on a monthly basis?
Very good point.
It's very difficult to ascertain. Now, of course, it's understood that to get online with universal credit means that it would be necessary for tenants to have a computer.
Yep, an internet connection.
And although it's been suggested that they can use computers at various libraries and maybe other centres, what has not been considered is that although the computer won't be available on a Sunday, for example, but for the rest of the week, then there will inevitably be large queues in front of these particular computers. How are they going to manage that?
They haven't really thought it through, have they? Now, you mentioned just a few moments ago that you're here to learn.
Yeah.
And you've been a landlord for 50 years, but you're still open-minded and wanting to continue learning. Is that part of your success?
Yes, it is. That's right.
Never stop learning.
No, never stop learning. Belong to various organizations like the National Landlords Association, Residential Landlords Association, and the Guild of Residential Landlords, which is an excellent organization to belong to, because they are completely committed to educating landlords. One thing I would say is that ever since I've been a landlord, all the legislation that's been introduced under the various housing acts has always appeared to be anti-landlord. And one certain thing that I would vote for, if it was possible to vote for, would be that we have separate land tribunals set up where you're asking for eviction for tenants because of rent arrears or unruly behavior for whatever particular reason. Then one has to go to court to get a formal eviction. Now that costs a lot of money.
It does.
Usually round about £1,000. By the time you employ a solicitor, In the meantime, although you serve notice on the tenant that they will probably trash the place.
Exactly.
They will take the attitude that if we're going to get kicked out, we're not going to pay any more rent anyway. And I would say that the best way forward would be to have some sort of a land tribunal instead of the county court, which would be composed of a layperson, a hard-nosed ex-rent officer or surveyor, and a solicitor.
And speed up the eviction process.
Speed up the eviction process.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you, Harry.
Not at all, my
pleasure. I hope you have a great day here at the Welsh Landlords Day Out.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your wisdom of 50 years of being a landlord.
There we are.
Amazing
I
achievement.
hope I've made some sort of contribution towards your particular programme.
Oh, thank you so much, Harry.
Not at all. Bye.
Bye-bye.